Now let's learn how to edit videos from scratch using the mobile app. So here on the Edit tab, you start a project by clicking New Project. First, you're going to select the video or the footage that you're going to use. So you have your videos, you have your photos, live photos. Up at the top, you also have stock videos from CapCut and AI media. So this is a generative AI feature that you can create content from your text, and that might be built out into other features in the future. But for now, we're just going to be using our own footage. This is the footage that you have in the class, and I thought it'd be fun to do sort of like a wildlife in my backyard video. These are all birds and bees that I saw in my backyard. So what I'm going to do is select this footage. You can preview it by tapping in the middle. You can select the footage up at the top. Now, the order that you select these is going to determine the order that it is on your timeline later on, which can be adjusted, but that's just something to note. It's best for efficiency just to select them in the order that they're going to end up being. You can also tap into them as well and trim the part that you want to be selected for the video. If I don't want all of this to be selected, I can tap that trim button, and then I could move the in and the out points of this clip so it's just selecting that portion. It has the time of this portion here on the bottom, so 1.9 seconds, and that would probably be the best thing to do, to go in here and adjust for each of these clips. So if you're following along, go ahead and pause the video and do that. All of that trimming and adjusting can also be done after the fact, but it just makes it more efficient overall if you do it now. Tapping that add button will open it up in this timeline. So the last thing for this lesson is I just want to give a basic overview of the interface. So at the top, we have the preview of the video itself. And so we can play that with the play button there. Down below, you have your timeline. So we have the time of the video up top, and then we have all of our clips. You can just slide through it by tapping and dragging to the right or left. You could zoom into the timeline by pinching or expanding with your fingers. And then down at the bottom, you have a bunch of your editing options, everything from editing footage, music, text, overlays, using templates, filters, color correction, all of that kind of stuff, which we'll be going over in future lessons of the class. You can expand it to full screen mode with that little button on the left. You have a great undo and redo button here that's super helpful. And then up here, you have some important settings. So here, if we tap that drop down, you can adjust the resolution, which you'll want to most often match the resolution of your footage. Also do that with the frame rate, and then your code rate. So this is going to make it a higher or lower quality video. Recommended is sort of a balance between those, and you can see the estimated size of the export down here. We also see that Smart HDR setting. Again, if you're using a camera, a phone that uses Smart HDR when filming, you'll want to turn that on. You have your export button up here, and the only thing I will say right now that's important is setting the aspect ratio of your project. So right now it's a landscape project, but as you can see, we are using footage that's vertical and landscape, so we kind of have to pick. And because we're using CapCut on mobile, let's use a vertical format. So tap that aspect ratio button. You have your original, and then you have all of these other presets. 9:16 has the little TikTok short reel logo right there. And so there we go. We just tap that, tap the check mark, and then we could readjust the framing of all of these videos later on, which we'll learn starting in the next lesson. See you in the next lesson when we'll go over some more basic editing tools.